It is 13th of January, Saturday, 2024, 3 p.m., 3:09 p.m. CET. Guess New Year. Some recaps. What have I been doing? Still in my winter break. I went to Cuba for 2 weeks as a vacation with some of my family. Visited my relatives there. Cool stuff. The Caribbean Sea. Oh my god. The most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I was also at this place called Viñales, and they had the craziest views, mountains and forest. Just cool stuff all around. But anyways, I felt like I had a lot of stuff to say, as I always do, but I forget them. One thing that's annoying me right now is my dry skin on my nose. I put cream, but it's still a little dry. I think I had something written in my notes. Oh, maybe I should start with my plan. Yeah. So, goal for 2024. I think it's very unlike my philosophies to suddenly have, like a New Year's resolution or goal once the year is new. But I do. And part of that, one thing is that it's nice to just, have that idea of a new start, The other thing is, this year I graduate, and I had been thinking, what do I need to do next? And I do want to pursue my biology career. And the difficulty is that it's hard to get into the industry with a decent job without a master's. So my ultimate goal in the near future is to get into masters. But to achieve that, I need money, and I probably need experience, because it's not like I'm getting the cum laude, whatever. So I think one way to show, quality in my resume is to have experience, but experience in biology, because I think I have pretty good experience in work and stuff, but not when it comes to internships and work that relates to my career. So the goal for this year is to make money, but also to build experience for my master's. But this would help me not just for my master's, just it's not like a long-term investment, but the things I would do here should help with any sort of future I have, because it's about building experience and money. So the internship will be biology related. Right now, I have one more internship coming up, which is to do with lichens. So that's gonna be fun. Lichens are very fascinating. And then my other goal is it's not really field work, but my last internship was to do with more outdoorsy. It was in a greenhouse, but taking care of plants. So it was kind of outside. And before that, it was lab, doing breast cancer stuff. So after the lichens, which is more outdoorsy, I want to go back to lab and do a lab internship. This would be, I think, IPS. I'm really interested in iPSC or gene editing. And I think I realize I am interested in like manipulating cells, manipulating life when I think about it, because I am fascinated in editing genes. Well, although a lot of different aspects of genes also really am interested, I still like transposons. I know they're also like for editing, but just the idea of it, I don't know if there's any sort of specific industry or work related to transposons. I mean, just some kind of research. I know I saw a video by Hank, like yesterday, of the human transposon line. I forgot what it stands for. But apparently lines are like a marker to identify cancer because they're usually methylated and silenced. But in a lot of tumors, the lines are demethylated, so they start replicating themselves. So that was interesting. And I think lines are auto replicatory, or what was the term? I don't know. Because there's like line and signs in humans. I think signs rely on lines, proteins, or the other way around. Either ways, I think it's really fascinating. It would, it would make more sense. I think line is the auto one, because it will be more efficient for tumors to target the transposons that can replicate themselves instead of relying on the other protein. If tumors probably also rely on signs, but if they're relying on signs, they have to rely on lines as well. But anyways, I think lines would be, yeah. And basically it kind of self-replicates, inserts the new replicants into different parts. So it creates chaos, and that helps the chaoticness of cancer. So it's a common marker. So I thought that was pretty cool. But I don't know how else lines are being researched. Maybe I could look into that. I first really wanted, well, it would be either iPSC, some sort of gene editing. I want more gene editing because I thought I was interested in cancer, and I am still, but that internship kind of rubbed me off the wrong way. I think it was more to do with the people, but also the content of the activity was just not really. I mean, it's like a first internship. It was only 4 weeks at a place where a real internship should take at least a year. So I understand why I couldn't do much, but yeah. But that's why this time, if I can go back to the lab, I can do more than a year if I want to. But I'm looking into the same institution, but different departments. Hopefully it's not bad, but we'll see. But yeah, and then job, I am working right now, but it's not biology, it's hospitality, which I still enjoy. I plan to continue that through self-employment, which sounds like a lot of responsibility, but it's really not. I just have to do the taxes myself. I get more money, but less shifts, but more freedom. So it'll be like a secondary job, ideally. And the primary, but like right now it's primary. But then I'm also doing employed hospitality as well, which is the same exact stuff. But yeah, anyways. But right now, there's basically no shifts. To be fair, I do have a shift tonight, but I think it's still kind of rare during the season. And it has always been, even the employed one, has always been a very inconsistent shift schedule. And also, I have to apply for every shift. It's not like I say I can work, Wednesday and Thursday, and then every week I just work Wednesday and Thursday. I have to apply for every shift, which is a competition between other people who are trying to take shifts, and the shifts are not consistent as well. Sometimes the days are always different, the time's always different. Sometimes it's morning, sometimes noon. I mean, usually I take evening shifts in the same location, but stuff always change. So, it's not something you want to have as your primary occupation. So that's why. And especially after I graduate, I need some sort of better source of income. So I would find a job. I emailed, and then the job, I think I just have already too much random job experience that I really have to narrow it down to biology now. Or film, honestly. But ideally biology. But we'll see. So yeah. I do that. So I emailed one guy if there's any job opportunities, or if you could guide me in the right direction, whatever. Emailed him 2 days ago, I think. No reply. And now it's Saturday. So yeah. And there was another guy in the same kind of field. From the internship, my most recent internship. And he's like, oh, I don't know. But he gave me the contacts for the person I just emailed, so I don't have any more lead. I think I just have to go on to whatchamacallit, LinkedIn. I hate LinkedIn, but it is what it is. I think it could be a very useful tool. So I'll look into that. And because also Japan, it's not you don't network, There's a whole shukuts thing, and that's how you get a job. So it's really weird for me. But yeah. But do internship. No, not networking. I just the emailing random people, asking them to help me. That's really weird for me. But I guess that's how people network, maybe. Who knows? So that's what I'm doing. Yeah. I think that's it for my plans for this year. I also have to start searching for university. I don't know why university. Munich seems nice, but it seemed nice 3 years ago. I haven't checked and done more research on it with my current knowledge and all that. I was talking to this person yesterday. They were talking about how New Zealand is a nice country, and honestly, I think New Zealand might be nice, because I was also thinking Australia. Australia's kind of expensive, but yeah. Also, I was doing so well with my diet until I went to Cuba, and now it got a little fat again. It's frustrating seeing myself in the camera. So I gotta work on that. I was eating 3 meals, overeating in Cuba. Now I'm back. I have to get back to 2 meals a day. But my meal plans are all over the place because I'm waking up at different times, sleeping at different times. I'm not keeping consistency, and eating and sleeping is kind of connected. They're both part of the circadian rhythm. So So I gotta figure out like an equilibrium, and figure out um, the right timing for everything. Um, Ideally, my goal is to sleep at around 10 p.m. and then be able to wake up at 6:30 a.m. And that would definitely help me um, keep my eating schedule consistent as well. So we'll get to that. And then, final thing I was thinking about today. Wait, let me check my notes. I don't think. Oh, I had. Okay, this is random. I was thinking of thinking about evolution and like natural selection. You know, how natural selection is often related to interaction between different species. And then I was wondering if natural selection works against biological free riders. And biological free riders, which means like species that do not provide anything for their biome or community. I was wondering that. I think that might not even really be a thing because within any like community, there's always going to be some sort of interaction. If two things are in the same space, most definitely there's some sort of interaction, which is probably going to lead to one either benefiting from each other. So I don't think there's such thing as a species that's able to benefit from its surroundings without others being able to benefit from it. I don't think that's possible because there's also indirect interactions, Even if you don't do much, you would shit, and the detritivores would consume it. It'll help make soil. It you still contribute to the cycle even if you don't want to. I think it's really hard to avoid being a biological free rider. I think humans will be the most capable of doing it, but even then we still have an interrelation. So I don't know. Yeah, and that was just a random question I was thinking about. Ethics idea. Oh, so I guess with teleology, there's a lot of different, philosophical, usually spiritual ideas that aim towards something like Nietzsche is about overcoming yourself, or what was it? Kant is like being a really good person, whatever. And then there's probably an ethics idea about this somewhere, but I have never really come across ethics in the sense of solely looking at longevity and quality of life, like having a more medical perspective. But then I feel like, but then that's like in the realm of medical ethics. But could that concept of ethics be on a more general, broad scale for anyone? Could it be on the same level as self-overcoming? Instead of striving for power, you just strive for health. Or I know part of Nietzsche's like telos is health as well, but it's really specifically health and quality of life. So all your actions should be in service of keeping your body healthy, instead of more than having like a spiritual goal per se. I don't know. It was just an idea I had. Maybe that's a thing. Who knows? Is that a good ethics thing? Who knows? But I probably thought of that because it relates to my thesis. That thesis is also another thing I really have to work hard on because I always procrastinate with projects. But this one, because this is also the one that, you know, schools look at, I think. So I want to have good thesis. And I should really start searching. Although I am taking like a PubMed research workshop right now. It's kind of crazy how layered and complicated researching on PubMed is. I thought you can just search on the search engine, but there's so much layers with like the mesh. But then from what I was learning, it seems like a lot of the art of searching PubMed is due to the fact that PubMed makes mistakes and fail to or slow. They make mistakes and they're slow. So that's why there's so many layers to like researching the right mesh terms and combinations. And it was, I don't know, it was interesting and so complicated. And just taking that workshop, there's a second part next week, but taking that workshop, I was thinking, holy shit, it's gonna take forever for me to do any research. But we'll see. Fingers crossed. Yeah. And then finally, I was thinking about this today. So a lot of the things I talk about is to do with like anti-telos, you know, because it's untrue, I would say. Like identifying a zeitgeist, like seeing life as like a linear progression, instead of a network of complicated dynamics and regressions and progressions and complete shifts, like, and simplifying that to just one directional line that moves in one way seems kind of reductionist. So that's why I don't really subscribe to the idea of telos. But at the same time, I don't think it's like, it's untrue, but it's good. Like from just, I don't know if it's a biological need or cultural need or whatever, but having some sort of goal is still something nice. It, at least for me, it enriches life. So although I don't believe, and the whole thing about zeitgeist, like I think using zeitgeist sort of reduces a society too much, but at the same time I don't want to completely deny that a zeitgeist doesn't exist, because there is a common medium we use, there is a common language, there's a common ritual that we use and share within a specific, well, I want to say region, but today we transcend region because we're in the virtual space. But there is a mode of zeitgeist, I would say, but it's very, I mean, maybe this is why it's called zeitgeist, but it's very faint. It's because an aspect of zeitgeist you might share with a few people, but then another aspect of the zeitgeist with the same people you might not share. So some things are common and layered, and it's like a little too complicated to just say there is a zeitgeist. I think something really interesting is that in Cuba I was with my cousin around my same age, and we really haven't talked at all and stuff, but we have a lot of things in common, I felt, because we're both in that internet, same internet culture. And I just thought that was fascinating. Like, we would know very specific memes, games, and all that. And I think it's fascinating. It's something that has not been able to achieve for millennia until now. And that's cool. In that sense, I can see a sort of zeitgeist, I would say. Because that common ground isn't just like things we both know. It bleeds into how we behave, how we talk about things. Yeah. Sort of. I mean, it's not like we're the same person. There's a lot of differences. But yeah, I thought, yeah, that's one. So, that's also why the tone of this today's video seems more pro-teleology, more pro-telos. But, yeah, I don't want to reduce my life to like a telos. Because the whole idea of progression, like teleology, implies like there might be regression, but you build layers. So it's like those meshed up things, like not trampoline but like nets, layered nets, and like a amusement park like Chuck E. Cheese or whatever, where like you have this high place you walk, but if you fall there's like layers, so it helps you stop on the way, if that makes sense. And I feel like that's the assumption telos creates, where even if you regress, you would only regress to like a closer level, because you have so many layers of these nets to protect you from going all the way back. But I really think that's an illusion. Because also I feel like I've experienced it. I think people are able to go from point A all the way to point 0. I think that's very realistic. And it kind of destroys the idea of telos in that sense, because what's the point of going, thinking you're like leveling up, you're building up something, like with the idea of resumes, CVs. It implies this idea that you have built layers, but honestly, I may have been someone that has progressed more while I was doing a bunch of different jobs. But in the span of a year while I wasn't doing any job, I feel like I regressed all the way back to when I didn't even have a job to begin with. So, was that actually progress, or was that just an environment that made me feel like I was in a different place that seems like I have made progress, And the whole idea that progress is good is also, a fallacy. It's not always the case. And if you can't achieve your progress, does that mean you're unfulfilled? Is there a way to be fulfilled, without needing to get something? And the issue with getting something is that you're gonna not be fulfilled because you're always gonna try to get something more. So, yeah. But then at the same time, the issue with this idea of anti-telos is that it makes me feel like, then what's the point of doing anything? Why don't I just do nothing? Because I feel like I can be very content with not doing anything for the most part, just lying in bed. But then it really feels like I'm wasting my life. So I don't want to do that, you know. And I think it's, it's fun. It's fun to have goals. It's fun to work on it, even if you don't achieve it. You know. And then I guess the whole argument about you can fall back to zero is, very similar to Sisyphus, but I, I always feel like the assumption with Sisyphus is that once you reach the top, you do achieve one goal, you fall back down, and you start a new goal. That's how I understand Sisyphus. Maybe it's wrong, but I think the point is the issue I'm talking about is the boulder Sisyphus rolls is the same exact boulder. Or, yeah, I mean, it is the same exact boulder he rolls. But maybe it's just my weird assumption. But I don't know if other people have thought about it where, like, reaching the top means you have achieved it and you're starting something new. But I really do believe in certain situations you can progress really far, or you think you're progressing, but you can easily go back to where you started. And it's less to do with you building, it's more just the circumstance you were in that creates the illusion of progression. So yeah, I don't know, that's how I feel. Because also memory, memory fails. I want to say I've become a better biologist compared to high school. But at the same time, I forget a lot of what I learned, so, yeah. So that's it, I guess. At the same time, I think it's nice to have a goal. Being a broken record, going past 30 minutes, but yeah. That's it, I think. I will, the person who's picking me up for the shift today, they haven't replied. Oh no, they have replied. Small roundabout that is in front. That is in front of the entrance of Albert Heijn. Small roundabout in front of Albert Heijn. I don't know where that is. Oh well, I'll find it. I still got 2 hours and I'm prepared, so. God, I really hate facial muscle and not facial muscle, facial fat and stomach fat. And that's always the fat that stays the longest and builds the fastest. The one thing I hated about the diet is how much mass I lost on my arm. But what can you do? No, that's why I'm aiming to eat more meat and work out more. So hopefully that helps maintain my arm muscle. And I should work on my legs more. I hate leg days. Yeah. Anyways. Oh, I started my structuralist series. I'm just gonna call it like onions, because I'm literally, like the structuralist lemon. I got an onion on my desk. I just do different ways of recording it on my phone. Just to, start rolling something and see where it goes. I also have this like fantasy story I've been like world building for a while, and I finally decided to start writing more of the story. Not really writing the story, but writing how the chapters move. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm missing like some sort of substance that I can't really describe. But yeah, I don't want to become a novelist. I want to stick to film, or at least graphic novel, but I'm also not good at drawing, so tough, man. Tough. So yeah, first thing, I need money. Yeah, okay, bye.